Hello there. Seeing as how I'm the last speaker, I have a little song for you. So darling, save the last dance for me. I'm your last dance. And here is my book. The title of my chapter is called From Corporate Executive to Entrepreneur and Loving It and Loving Every Minute of It. And it really is the story of how I believe life does come full circle. And so in order to depict that, I thought what I would do is I'd give you my ending first. And my ending is just a couple of bullet points to take with you. The first is, and we've heard some of this already this afternoon, the first is everybody you come in contact with is carrying some kind of a burden or an issue that you know nothing about. So the point is, be kind. Whether that is a gentle acknowledgement as you're passing somebody in the hall, a smile, eye contact, you never know when that gesture, random act of kindness, does make, it's the only thing that is good in that person's life. The second thing I would say is choose your words wisely and thoughtfully. As I'm going to explain in just a little minute, not doing so, ill-chosen words really do prove up the adage of it's not what you say, it's how you say it and how those words affect somebody's life. So those are my 2 points. And as Paul Harvey used to say, and now for the rest of the story. Having had an experience when I was in 8th grade, I had a parent-teacher conference where the teacher told my father that I would never amount to anything. I look back on that retrospectively and know that those ill-spoken words were really the seeds that planted an extraordinarily deep sense of work ethic in me, to the point where at times it almost killed me. Now, I don't mean that literally, but it did have an effect on my life. So, as Ken said, I'm a recovering banker, spent more than 30 years in the financial service arena, most of that in banking, the last almost 5 years, with a major wirehouse as a financial planner. But it's interesting, I didn't choose that profession. My father did. And he passed away early on, before I was even cognizant of what was going on. So I don't know this for a fact, but I suspect that the reason I ended up in financial services is because of those ill-spoken words by that teacher. And then he said to me, go down to the Marshall and Ilsley Bank in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and get a job. And so that's what I did. Okay, hold that thought. I have been very fortunate in my career to work for 2 holding companies that allowed me to build a business within each one of those organizations. Now, let me just say one thing here. Everybody in this room knows how difficult it is to start a business. There's a lot of time, energy, money, all kinds of things. Easy is not one of those things. So the question really is begged, why would anybody in their right mind start not 1, but 2 businesses within the most conservative, highly regulated, and compliance-driven environment? The only thing I can come up with is those ill-spoken words and my desire to change that. Although I did not have that desire on a cognizant level, but it was something inside of me. So, going back to the businesses. The first one I started was a financial planning concern back in the day when financial planning was not an approved activity for bank holding companies. I do write about it in the book, and so I would just refer you to that. But suffice it to say that it took us 2 years, and we were successful at getting it done. The second initiative was for women, and women business owners, and women in business. So basically, it was the corporate executive woman, and the entrepreneur. And what we were trying to do there was give them access to credit, capital, business information, so they knew what a balance sheet was, they knew what a cash flow statement was, and so forth. And then, obviously, wonderful connections. It was really there that my passion for encouraging women took bloom. Beyond that, in my history, I always kind of dabbled in that. I always had kind of an affinity to working with women, but it was really when I was at that particular bank that it came into bloom. And as I said, I write about it in my book, and I would refer you to that chapter, but I will say this. When we did this, it was 14 years ago, in 2000, I think is when we launched, and we were so early out of the box in marketing to women and tapping into the economic power that they had then. And at that time, the economic power that women controlled was estimated to be north of the GDP of the country of Japan. So huge, huge initiative. But that's another story for another time. I think one of the things that made us so popular, or so successful really, at Legacy was the fact that, and this might sound weird, but we had physical space. I had 3,500 square feet in the corporate headquarters. So there was a place for women to go or to come to, as opposed to a person being located in various branches, and she would be the person that was going to take care of women. And so what happened was, people came. They came from all over the Metroplex, and they would come into my offices, and yes, we did do some business, but primarily they wanted to talk. And they wanted to talk about their husbands, their mother-in-law, their kids, the addictions, that whatever financial issues. They needed something that was going to give them hope and encouragement, and we found out really quickly that we really did have a ministry. I couldn't say that out loud. The HR people would go absolutely berserk, but that's what it was, because we offered people hope, we offered them connections, we offered them a recommendation, we offered them a lot of things. We had truly gotten to their hearts. When I was introduced to Rodan and Fields, it really was a divine appointment. Besides it being a fabulous company with products that actually work, I saw it as an opportunity to circle back around, to work with women and help them look and feel better. This piece of your face is the most important piece of real estate that any of us own. It's valuable and it's priceless. And if you look and feel good, then your mental side, the way you go about operating is extraordinarily positive. So what I'm doing now is really my passion. This isn't about me at all. It isn't about Rodan and Fields, great as a company as it is. It isn't about our products, as terrific as they are. It is about the lives that I have seen God change already, and those that I know are going to be changed on the other side of my yes, because this wasn't on my radar screen. And so it brings me back around to my final words. Be kind. You never know when you are the only ray of hope that someone has. Choose your words carefully, and that's hard, because there are times when it just wells up and you want to scream, and you can ask my husband, he'll tell you all about that. But I would offer one last thing, and that is practice aloha. Can you tell I just came back from Hawaii? But what I mean by that is practice love. Love people where they are, not who you want them to be, not anything else about you, but love them first and love them always. And that's my comments for you today. So thank you so much.